Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. Enjoy tons of bonus videos, including patron-only live shows, gameplay, and vintage 10 for the wins, access to podcast question threads, the Friendo Care Package, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And on today's Going In Raw news brief, Vince believes ThunderDome will save WWE. Brian Cage named his lizard after Steve, and we preview NXT. But first, is Renee Young headed to AEW? Larson, what's in the news?
Well, as first reported by Outkick and subsequently confirmed by PW Insider, it appears that Renee Young's time with the WWE is about over. According to Outkick, Young will still work SummerSlam weekend, but she is, quote, leaving on her own accord. PW Insider adds that, quote, Young gave the company notice a week ago that she intends to exit. There is no word when her final date with the company is yet. Renee Young is an immensely talented individual. Of anybody who has been under WWE's employ in recent years, who had the capability to be, say, the next Mean Gene in terms of interviewers. Yeah. It's her.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Watch her on Talking Smack.
Yeah.
Let her show that, if they ever let her show that level of personality, whether it be on commentary, doing interviews, it would have been absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they didn't really do that outside of Talking Smack and backstage.
Here's the thing. And this is really no slight against WWE. Given how they treat their interviewers and backstage personalities and even commentators, she is far and away she's super overqualified for the WWE. She is in a position that does not even come close to making the best use of her talents, because as you've already stated, we've seen, and I even think that what we've seen is a mere a small percentage of what she can offer to the kind of a situation that she has expressed interest in, some sort of talk show type situation. I think she would be absolutely great at ESPN, for example. I don't even think really she should be. I think she's too big for AEW, to be honest with you.
Same.
A lot of people are making that obvious assumption that she might be headed there simply because obviously her husband is champion right now of AEW. But I really think that is underselling her talents. WWE has really, honestly, even when they put her at commentary for like a cup of coffee, basically, they didn't let her really showcase what she's really able to do. You can't have somebody like that with Vince McMahon barking in her ear and manufacturing rivalries with Corey Graves right next to her. It's just not, it doesn't suit what she can bring to the table, which is much better than what they have right now. This is awesome for her. This is great for her. The WWE is honestly, the way they treat those personalities, the WWE is beneath her. She should shine somewhere else.
Yes, definitely. Speaking of shining, Vince thinks WWE will return. We'll find it shine yet again, thanks to ThunderDome.
Oh, look at all these bright lights. Oh, yeah.
So we've seen some reports over the past few weeks that Vince has been a bit grumpy of late. But if WrestlingNews.co sources are to be believed, his, quote, mood has been great this week, and it's thanks to ThunderDome. Steve, is there more to this?
Yeah, so one of the site's sources claims, it's WrestlingNews.co, claims that Vince, quote, Vince feels like the worst is over, and he feels that the company can get back to where things were before the virus came along. I guess that means just a really slow downward trajectory as opposed to a quick downward trajectory.
Maybe, I don't know.
The quote continues, he has been in a great mood ever since they locked in the contract with the Amway Center. Another of their sources mentioned, quote, Vince thinks it might take a few weeks to get back the fans that we lost, but when they realize we are out of the Performance Center and they see how cool the show looks, they will be back. He thinks the numbers can get back to where they were in February and early March.
We've seen some video over the last few days of what the ThunderDome is looking like, and it does look pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks great.
Justin Barrasso just posted a little short clip on Twitter, I believe, today, and it looks neat.
Yeah.
Is that going to be enough to bring fans back? It's not a guarantee. It's hardly a given.
So I don't know. I'll put it this way. I don't know. It'll be interesting. So certainly in the short term, people will be curious what this is going to look like. WWE, I mean, one thing that will be interesting to see if one of the ingredients for rating success is spectacle. This obviously is a much bigger spectacle than what we got at the Performance Center.
Obviously,
WWE tends to do really good at things like spectacle, and that's why Vince is so like antsy over the past couple months, because he's not allowed to bring that into our living rooms. Will this in any way, shape, or form be able to simulate the live environment? Remains to be seen. I'm neither pessimistic or optimistic. I just don't know. I have no idea.
I have no idea, but to think that this is going to be the cure-all, I think it's a bit of a superficial fix to some far more deep-rooted issues about WWE's product.
I think well, here's the thing. I think that it might be a fix to get them to where they were pre-pandemic, but they were not in a great situation pre-pandemic.
No, they were hovering around 2 million viewers.
So look, when we started this podcast, they were probably hovering closer to 4 million viewers.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't, over the span of 5 years, losing half your viewership on TV is not great.
No.
So if you want to extend that out and get back on track for losing, another half of your viewers over the next couple of years, this might do it, maybe. But yeah, their overall issues are much more deep rooted than the spectacle out. But it is kind of interesting to see how much spectacle can bring to the product. That I don't know. That we're about to find out.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know.
So we'll see.
I don't know. WrestlingNews.co also adds, quote, "There's now speculation among some in the company that now that they are running shows at the Amway Center, this will open the door for names like Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns to return." They also add that, given that their COVID protocols that they've implemented fairly recently, that some talent who has not taken part of late in the Performance Center shows might feel more at ease at Amway since it's a larger space, a much larger space.
Mm-hmm.
Not just in terms of inside the arena, but I assume also the backstage area, and maybe feel more comfortable instead of being, so close to, whomever is working that day. You can have more space to yourself. That's speculation on their part, I think.
They could, yeah. I mean, I guess there would be more room to
corridors, backstage, on the bowels of the arena, and several locker rooms as opposed to probably just one. It seems like everybody's milling about next to that second ring at the Performance Center constantly. Yeah. That's like that's catering / locker room seemingly.
You have to wonder, yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. You have to wonder. Look, if they pull this off, and us at home are sitting there like, man, this is just as good as fans being there. Again, I'm not really sure it's going to be the case, but if they pull it off and it's like, holy crap, this is actually a pretty cool experience, and it has that vibe of like, okay, people are into this. This could be a new normal and people be into it. Ratings are up. I could see that being a lure for Roman or Brock. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I guess I don't know exactly what Brock's hesitancy is about returning. Is it financial? Is it pandemic stuff? I don't know. With Roman, it's pretty clear that he's stepping away just to make sure he can keep himself and his family safe.
I wouldn't, dude, I wouldn't, I don't know how much of it is one or the other. I really don't. I think that there's probably a lot of it probably has to do with that. But as a business person, you also have to look at this and say, that is not making me look like a star. That's one concern. I honestly think at this point that's one concern. If Drew loses the championship to Randy Orton, it might be a good thing for him because then he can swing back around when like fans are back, and it might be a short title reign for Randy Orton. I don't know. I kind of think that's how it's going to go down. But like this empty arena era is a low point for the WWE, and you don't want to be so associated with that. Like, oh, I got to be champion when nobody was around. That, you know, with Roman, yeah, there might be. It might be all of it. All of it might be. I just don't want to, you know. If they were forced in this situation for some other reason and he wasn't at danger, I imagine as a professional, he'd probably still be there.
Yeah, he seems to be a company man. If the WWE needed him, then he seemed like he would be there. This is like one of those instances where he's like, well, okay, I got to step in for myself, for my family, and step away for the time being. That's how it's been presented, you know?
Sure, yeah. But he, as a business person, it wouldn't surprise me. It just wouldn't surprise me if he looked at the situation also and was like, I really don't want to be associated with all this right here. It looks terrible.
Well, I mean, you read interviews with Drew, and he talks about how the low ratings don't necessarily bother him. He just sees this as another obstacle to overcome, and I wouldn't be surprised. Granted, I don't know Roman personally, based on what you hear about him, what kind of leader he is, that he might adopt a similar attitude.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Because, like, I don't know. Drew is still on the way up. Roman is not.
Speaking of company on the way up, Steve, you watched Impact last night, right?
I did. Oh man. Oh, Larson. I hope you watched the clip on that I clipped on Twitch. This was. Are you really? You didn't watch? Oh, I'm sad. This was next level. Did you know what happened?
Well, apparently Brian Cage has a lizard named Steve.
Brian Cage has a lizard named Steve. This was amazing. You guys are really missing out, not showing up. Twitch.tv/Steve and Larson, Tuesday nights, 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern for these Impact streams. The running story has been somehow, some way, chat has got it in their heads that that Brian Cage is my husband. I don't really know how that happened, I'll be honest with you. But last night, given that Brian Cage showed up, so the story is this. Impact Twitch streams don't run the commercials they run on Access. But instead of just going to Darkness, or like an Impact logo with some dubstep music, they go to Melissa Santos, who was in Lucha Underground. She's done a bunch of other stuff, who happens to be married to Brian Cage, AEW's FTW champion.
Yeah.
So obviously they're two different companies. Probably shouldn't be. And so Brian Cage at one point sort of popped his head in, being a bit cheeky. Then he leaves. Chat for Impact started demanding that he come back, right? So she's like, oh, he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to push us, like, he don't want to get in trouble. And this happened like at the last commercial break of the final match, of the main event match. Mm-hmm. So Brian Cage, he doesn't show up, but he does sort of put his little pet lizard in there. And Melissa said, oh, yeah, this is his pet lizard. His name is Steve.
Brian Cage is the child. This is his friend Steve.
That's cute.
Yeah, I was just trying to tell you that you could switch to a high protein, low carbohydrate diet.
What did she just say his name was?
Oh, okay. All right. That's our friend Steve. And we're going to let you guys go. So that's it for me tonight.
My mind just exploded. Chat exploded. It was a grand old time. We had like 400 people there.
That's crazy.
We broke a new record.
That's
400
crazy.
People concurrence for the Impact stream.
That's pretty cool.
It's a blast. It's honestly a lot of fun. Like, even if you're not at an Impact, they have like super empty arena stuff going on. They have a lot of great talent there. Sometimes it kind of feels like their talent might just be waiting to get the call up to AEW or WWE. But regardless, there's a lot of cool stuff going on at Impact. And it's a good time watching it with friendos. So yeah, no, Emergence Night 1 was last night. It's like their 2-night sort of pseudo pay-per-view event.
Supercards.
Yeah, Supercard.
Wild card
exactly.
finals.
It's like Night of Champions, basically. Anyways, last night, Rohit Raju, who had been sort of aligning himself with Chris Bay, they landed themselves a triple threat match against the babyface TJP. Well, that alliance really didn't work out because as soon as he had an opportunity to swerve Chris Bay and take that championship on his own, he did so. He's the new X Division champion. But it was a really, really fun match. TJP was doing all sorts of great stuff that I never got to see him do in 205. So that was a fun match. The North in the main event lost their rematch against Motor City Machine Guns. They basically quantum leaped out of there at the end. Makes you wonder what's going to happen. I know there was a rumor that AEW is perhaps interested in the new body guy, Ethan Page.
Apparently his contract's up at the end of the year as well.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe they'll give him like a short solo run. Maybe he'll turn on his partner. I don't know. Moose just absolutely annihilated Trey Miguel in their TNA championship match, which is like an unsanctioned title that Moose just carries around with him. He absolutely obliterated Trey Miguel. Moose looks in amazing shape these days. He really looks like their real champion, to be honest with you. He won with a spear, but then was attacked by EC3, who then just picked up his title and took it. He just stole the TNA title. The Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson, beat Madman Fulton and Ace Austin. That was a decent enough match. Kylie Ray defeated Taya at the Wrestle House. At that point, during the taping at Wrestle House, the sun was encroaching onto their outdoor backyard ring. So like like a fourth of the ring was like completely blown out because they didn't really.
Oh yeah.
They never really fully understood how to properly light things.
Lighting and photographing and.
Yeah, exactly.
Why not just wait till magic hour hits and then you have time? You have a whole hour roughly.
You can get a couple of like big daylight. Well, they tape a lot. That's the thing. It's like you try that. They're taping a lot. Anyways, next week we've got, and that was pretty much it for the matches. Next week we're going to have Deonna Purrazzo versus Jordynne Grace for the Knockouts Championship. That's going to be a 30-minute Iron Woman match. That should be really good.
That should be great.
And the only thing else that I know of that's been advertised is Ed Edwards, their champion.
Yeah.
In an open challenge title defense. All they have him doing are open challenges, Larson. And I thought that'd be cool, but it's their world title.
It's essentially the U.S. title, then.
There's no stories for him.
Yeah.
And he just sort of carries himself a bit on the Slavic side. Remember when Undertaker told CM Punk to start dressing like a champion?
Yeah.
I feel like telling that to Ed Edwards.
Well, here's your opportunity right now.
Dress like a champion.
Wow.
He looks like a Hot Topic worker, man.
I don't know, man. Anyways, NXT's on tonight, of course. AEW, due to NBA playoff basketball, is being preempted. It's on Saturday, more or less, against TakeOver. Second hour is. But we'll be covering NXT tonight. We'll do a recap tonight after the show airs. Here's preview. Adam Cole and Pat McAfee to meet face-to-face ahead of TakeOver 30 Showdown.
Yeah, Finn Balor faces Velveteen Dream with a TakeOver 30 spot on the line.
Johnny Gargano clashes.
Boy, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Johnny Gargano clashes with Ridge Holland for a North American title opportunity.
That's a no-brainer. Johnny's going to win that one.
Yes.
Swerve joins forces with Breezango to battle Legado del Fantasma.
And finally, Rhea Ripley and Shotzi Blackheart battle Mercedes Martinez and Aaliyah tonight. So again, we'll be doing our recap live over on the Twitch about 7:30ish. Yeah,
sounds right. That sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. Enjoy tons of bonus videos, including patron-only live shows, gameplay, and vintage 10 for the wins, access to podcast question threads, the Friendo Care Package, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today at patreon.com/Steve and Larson.